Projects keep coming to me. People keep coming to me saying, hey, I got a project. I have a board of like dates and projections of when I'm supposed to be shooting things. And there's like 20 movies on that board. And I don't know how I'm supposed to get to them all.
Put aside all the acting this guy has done in TV shows and movies, including his role of Viper on Full House and Fuller House. He has 8 movies that he's currently filming or in post-production as either an actor, a writer, a producer, a director, or a combo thereof, which is most of those. David Lipper is on the podcast, everyone.
Word.
How was that for an intro?
Wow, it's a lot. It's a mouthful.
But dude, you are like the busiest guy in Hollywood, man. You have so many projects going on.
I found a niche.
How many movies did you make last year?
6.
6. How many have you made this year so far?
6.
And now how many do you have could still make this year if time permits?
Maybe another 2 or 3.
Wow.
Probably 2.
You found a niche. What is your niche?
It's evolving. As you said, I started really as an actor and I made my living mostly as an actor.
Not only that, but this guy's been working as a working actor since the 90s, like nonstop. His credit since the 80s. Yeah, that's right. He was a child actor. I mean, I think of you as you're born in 1980. Yeah, yes, you were working as in the 80s as well. What was your first big role?
I started on a TV series in Canada called Time of Your Life. It was like a teenage soap opera. So it was 5 days a week. And that I did 75 episodes of.
Wow.
And I did that in 1987, 88. I got off the show because I decided I wanted to go back to school and I didn't think the show was going to go another season, and it didn't. So it ran 150 episodes and it died. And I went to Emerson College in Boston where I played varsity hockey.
Oh, wow.
I still play hockey.
You do, yeah?
I do.
My brother is also, and he plays every week like a floor hockey with guys. And so you play ice hockey?
I do the ice hockey.
Yeah.
Every now and then we have these actor, celebrity games. I got to play one with Dave Coulier from Full House.
Oh, yeah.
I got to say, he's a pretty damn good hockey player.
Really?
Yeah.
Is he Canadian in real life or no?
He's a Michigan guy.
Okay, so that's close to Canada. It's really a
right
Michigander.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Basically, I was that guy. Came up and obviously, like you mentioned, Full House. I was a sitcom guy. Did a lot of comedy and then a lot of really bad Lifetime movies.
But nonstop working.
Nonstop. The last series I did was one called Frequency for the CW.
Yeah.
And I was the serial killer, the Nightingale killer.
Wow.
And unfortunately, that got canceled after 13 episodes. Bit of a current story in my career, which is every single series gets canceled. I mean, that happens to everybody.
Right,
eventually, you'd like to get a few seasons out of them. I seem to never get more than one. And then bouncing between these funny roles and these sitcoms to killer in these Lifetime movies and NBC movies and CBS movies. And then eventually independent film started happening for me.
Yes.
And I started to see a window of doing other things. I started writing. And I wrote this Christmas movie. I had this idea bouncing in my head of where do all these Dear Santa letters go, right? The kids write them, they put them in the mail, where do they go? And so the post office told me, well, they go to an address, whatever's written on the envelope. Well, it says North Pole. Okay, what if there's a North Pole Road and it's in Canada? Oh. And so I came up with this idea that these orphan kids that are living in a foster home, they find out they're going to be split up into 2 different families. So they follow their Dear Santa letters to find Santa Claus to get a home for Christmas. So by the way, that movie will be airing this holiday season.
Is it called The Christmas Letter?
It's called A Christmas Letter. Wow. And it's on UpTV this Christmas season.
Was that the first thing you did as you segued in from the acting into your own company yet or not?
That
yet?
was just one script. The reason that one got made now is I'd written it years ago. Yeah. And it's what we call in the business stuck in turnaround.
Oh, yes.
It got optioned and then it came back to me, and then another producer optioned it. It came back to me. And then I said, why don't I just make it myself? Yes. I'm a producer now. What I did is I figured out how to do it.
Yes.
And we did, and it's already aired on the CBC. It aired last Christmas.
Canadian Broadcasting Company.
That's right. It was a big hit for them, and hopefully it'll be a big hit here on the American side.
UpTV, every Christmas,
November,
people
December.
be watching it.
Yeah. By the time I got to that movie, that was the 3rd movie I had shot during COVID. This is the first movie I ever directed. So I was locked into my schedule and my shot list, and finally we had a day off, and I was like started to hear things, and then I put the TV on, and there's the president declaring we have a pandemic, and I thought, oh God, they're going to shut us down. Of course not. Oh God, I could die or anything like that. It goes,
a true film,
my movie
exactly
is all I think about. And I have Allie Simpson's mom on the phone screaming at me, get my daughter on the next plane, because she's from Australia.
Right.
And we got on the last plane out to Australia, and I had to, basically condense a 16-day shoot, which is already pretty tight, into 11 days because I knew they were shutting us down. I had to get people out.
Yeah.
I lost my stunt crew. I started choreographing the stunt scenes.
Right.
No, SAG, I did not do that. Allegedly.
Yeah.
As my lawyer says. We got it done. And that movie is out now. You can watch it for free on Amazon Prime or Tubi or any of those. And I'm really proud of that movie. I had gotten a certain level of comfort in shooting in the pandemic just because I was forced into it because there was no way I was going to let my movie go. When my first AD on that movie, Elizabeth Blake Thomas, came to me with Just Swipe, a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
And said, I need help producing this. And would you star in this for me? I'm going to direct it. And I said, sure. And then I realized, I got to raise all the money and figure the whole thing out.
Is that like executive producer that she wants you to be?
No. I'm full-on producer.
You brought the money as well?
When you're responsible, you're responsible.
You're responsible,
so
yeah.
I quickly went to work and raised some funds. And most importantly, I made the call to Jodie Sweetin.
Yeah. From Full House?
From Full House and Fuller House.
Yeah.
She became a much bigger star on Fuller House because that centered on her and Candace. We shot it in 8 days at the Sinatra Estate. And again, this was lockdown. This was before we had the vaccine. And so what I did was I rented out this estate and I said, here's what we're going to do.
Is that in Palm Springs?
No, he has houses all over.
Yeah.
This was in Woodland Hills.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so we made this film. And then I thought, well, now I've made 2 during the pandemic. I started working on the script with Kelly Price for Curse of Wolf Mountain. He had an idea. He said, I need your help. I helped him with the script. And he ended up writing a draft that we could shoot. We shot 2 days in my house and 6 days on a mountain in Castaic, near Magic Mountain. It's called The Curse of Wolf Mountain, which came out May 9th.
Yeah.
It stars Danny Trejo, Tobin Bell from all the Saw movies.
Wow.
And of course, myself.
You directed and starred it. You wanted to star in it. Yes.
Played a key character in it, and somehow shot a movie in 8 days on time.
Again, 8 days.
That I'll never do again. That was insanity. 12 days is bad enough.
You really have to have a good cast that can do it in what, one take, 2 takes?
To be honest, you got to know what you're doing because basically, like, you go here, you go there, you run your lines, you're on the wrong set. I need wardrobe, and he's got the wrong clothes on. And it's like, and roll camera.
Wow.
And it's like that. And then I go, great, how am I doing? You're 20 minutes behind. And then the funny thing is, we shot day for night.
Oh, yeah.
Which was,
so you got to sleep.
This is my genius idea when they go, Dave,
We
can't afford the lights. We can't afford the generators. We don't have the time to move it all around the mountain. And I said, I have the solution. We'll go day for night. No problem. Very, very difficult. So you're constantly running away from the sun. It's counterintuitive. It was an experiment for all of us.
Yeah.
None of us had done it before. So, there's no one person.
It's your third film.
Yeah. We did it. And I thought we made a really fun, low budget horror film.
Yeah.
I killed 10 people in the movie. And
it's great.
It's hard enough to do the rom-com in a house that we did in 8 days. That's much, much easier than doing stunts, practical effects, and then there's visual effects. And yes, this was a long post-production, cleaning it up in post. This is the problem when you rush and you go, we'll deal with everything in post. Well, then you have a very long post.
Yeah.
And what could be like a 3-month post, it turns into a year post.
Wow.
We had to remove things that shouldn't have been there.
Yeah.
My favorite is in a Christmas letter. One of the kids forgot to take her mask off because it was back in the days.
Oh, yeah. You had the COVID mask. Yes.
Had to wear the masks between every shot. And so I had him remove the mask. And then, of course, a chunk of the face is missing. And then he had to put the face back in.
Oh.
Unfortunately, the one master shot, I didn't have more coverage. I didn't have another shot without the mask. So we fixed it in the coverage, but we moved on from the master shot before we figured out she had a mask on. So once you remove something, then you have to put it back. And so he rebuilt her face. And,
oh my God.
Anyway, really amazing job that he did on that.
I can imagine. That's the movie magic of making this stuff. And also because you had the ability to write, because you were the writer, I got to figure out how to fix this. Oh, we'll just add this scene or voiceover or the DJ, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? That's great.
And that was the movie I always wanted to star in. I was so excited to play the lead in. Because I really wrote it for my voice. Like The Unwilling is another one that I wrote and starred in.
Okay.
That was the first one. That came out like 5 years ago. That's got like 6 million views on YouTube.
Wow.
On one movie YouTube channel.
That's amazing.
So it's doing really, really well.
This podcast on YouTube will get 6 million views. It will top it. 6,000,001 it'll get.
If all 6 million.
If all 6 million
click
from that.
the button. We're going to do just great. And leave a good review, would you?
How did you learn how to produce? Because
it was not supposed to happen. And it was one of those situations where we got together, a bunch of buddies, and said, let's make a movie. Yeah. And Julia Verdon was my manager at the time. And came on as the lead producer, but she got a lot going on in her life, and she needed somebody to really run things on the ground and get things going. And so I stepped up.
Wow.
And then I learned every position.
Yeah.
And I realized what makes me a valuable producer is I know every job. I know the creatives, from the writers to the directors. I know I know what they're doing because I've done it all. I even know what the grip and electric
Best
are doing.
boy, you doing crafty if you have to. You're out there. You're
I love when
making it
they're
happen.
like, we need 5 people in the art department. You need 5 people? Why? Well, we got to move furniture. I'm like, I've moved a couch. It takes 2 people.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've been on these ultra low budget
Yes.
movies where I'm moving the furniture.
Right.
And I don't think you need 5. After A Christmas Letter,
Yeah.
I got home, and my friend Bob Daley,
Yes.
and if the name sounds familiar,
It
because
sounds familiar.
his dad, Bob Daley Sr., or Robert A. Daley, was the chairman and CEO of Warner Brothers from 1980 to 2000.
Yes.
Also
20
used-
years.
Used to own the Dodgers, if you're a baseball fan.
Yeah, I am a baseball fan, more of the Yankees, but yes,
Yeah,
he's one of the owners of the Dodgers.
he was.
Oh, he was.
Yeah, he owned it soon right after Warner Brothers, so in the early
Okay.
2000s.
Wow.
Yeah, so we go to a lot of games.
Oh yeah.
Pretty
yeah.
good seats too, I will say.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bobby basically saw what I was doing, and he said, I can't believe in all these terrible circumstances you've delivered every movie on time, on budget.
Says a lot.
Someone's gonna grab you, he said. I said, it's funny you say that because somebody made me an offer. He said, I knew it. I said, what do you mean you knew it? Like, what do you care? It's like, did you plan on wanting to do something with me? He goes, I don't know, maybe. I go, what do you mean maybe? Like, let's make a company. So we made a company.
Wow.
And it's called Latigo Films.
Let it go.
In October, it'll be 2 years. We've made 11 movies together
My God,
in less than 2 years.
that's unfathomable.
I know. In fairness, I will say this. I didn't run every show from beginning to end.
Right.
Just most of them. All 6 last year, yes. In fact, one, I was just a producer for hire on Candy Flip. I came in, I crewed up for them. I helped them have the right team in place to run the show with me, and then I shot second unit. That's the thing. That's
Oh, yeah.
another advantage to me as a producer is I generally am shooting the second camera. That's how you make 12 days work on a film. Because think about it. If I'm one camera
Right.
all day, every day, and I get 12 days in, that's going to be tough. But if I'm 2 cameras, in a sense, it's like 24 days.
Yeah,
Right? You're
yeah.
getting double the coverage
Wow.
if you're using that camera all the time. And when I have 2 cameras, I'm using that camera all the time. Because if I see it sitting there,
Right.
I'm grabbing the sheet from the director that I've gone through, and I say, look, I'm going to knock this shot off. I'm going to knock this shot off.
Well,
I'm
that's
going to knock
great.
off this, and this. And I'll take my little unit, my B unit, and we'll knock this stuff off. And sometimes I shot entire scenes, and even scenes I was in.
Yeah,
which-
you're one of the stars of it.
It's another
The
one
writer,
I
producer,
wrote,
and one
yeah.
of the stars of that movie.
That's right.
I do my research.
That's right. So Hunt Club came out April 4th. It's doing very well. I had a nice run on what we call TVOD, the transactional VOD stage, where people pay to rent or buy it,
Okay, yeah.
which you can still do. And now it's with commercials on Tubi. And
Yep.
if you don't want to see the commercials, then you rent it. Something like a 71% score
Wow,
on
that's-
Rotten Tomatoes,
that's really
which I'll
good.
take.
That's
on-
really
at
good,
least on
actually.
the audience side. For these kinds of movies, that's what you want to see.
Let me ask you about this, about your company, about Latigo. You guys must have a formula because do you make like films of a certain budget range? Do you reverse engineer? Do you like find out what they're doing overseas and say, okay, this is what's hot over there. Here's my concept. Here's my actors I'm going to attach to it. Let's shoot the poster and let's sell it. What do you guys do?
All fantastic ideas. Why didn't I think of that? It's kind of a little more freeform. The general philosophy is let's make movies we want to make with people we want to make them with. But ultimately, we're focusing on genre pictures. We do have some dramas in there that are passion pieces. Again, with people we want to be working with. I have a piece from Tom Hopper and his wife. So Tom Hopper starred in my Western called Place of Bones. My partner Bobby and I produced for Latigo.
With Heather Graham also?
With Heather Graham.
Okay.
Well done.
It's my Western.
We just
Western.
finished that film.
Yeah.
So that is going out to sales now. It'll make its debut in Toronto and hopefully make a nice sale or several. When people see me produce on set, they tend to hit me up and say, hey, you're somebody I want to work with again. Tom approached me with his team at Range Media, who rep them.
Yep.
And I thought the script was beautiful. It's an autobiographical story written by his wife, Laura, about growing up with an autistic child and what that does to the marriage. And most marriages don't survive.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. I think 70 to 75% fall
Wow.
apart. It's really, really stressful in a marriage, especially when somebody like Tom Hopper is off shooting Umbrella Academy and all the fanfare and the money and the luxury, and mom is at home dealing with a very difficult child to bring up, someone who's going to have different outbursts as autistic children do. And, it takes a lot of parenting and patience and love and tolerance. And at some point, the couple's either going to come together over it or they're going to break up.
Right.
And what happens in this movie is right at the crisis moment, they find a new level of connecting and working on this together. I've sent it to Michelle Yeoh to play the mother, who's coming off of her Oscar win, and I've been talking to her managers.
Oh, that'd be great.
A lot about it. I love her
amazing.
and been wanting to work with her even before she won the Oscar.
Yeah.
That's something we're putting together right now that we hope to be shooting in spring of next year. And that's the kind of thing that happens. Projects keep coming to me. People keep coming to me saying, hey, I got a project. I have a board of like dates and projections of when I'm supposed to be shooting things. And there's like 20 movies on that board. And I don't know how I'm supposed to get to them all. But I am making a lot of movies, so I'm getting to them one by one. And what happens is also people are coming to me saying, hey, listen, we need help. We heard you're the guy to come in when there's a problem and you'll figure out how to fix it.
You're the cleaner, the fixer.
And so we kind of developed this reputation. So all the sales companies and producers and all kinds of people are calling us nonstop saying, hey, we got a movie. It's just about there. We're a little screwed up right now. How do we fix this? So this year was really about those kinds of movies and also getting into bigger films, right? Because last year we had maxed out at a $5 million budget.
Okay.
We wanted to get to $20 million budgets. And so we made a movie this year called Not Without Hope, directed by the brilliant and written by the brilliant Joe Carnahan.
Yes.
Who did a movie called The Grey with Liam Neeson.
Yep.
Did like $100 million in box office or close to. So I looked at the script and I looked at what they had in Malta and I saw that there was something amazing. It's a true life story, by the way, about the 4 football players who went fishing off the coast of Florida in 2009. And they dropped the anchor and they knew a storm was coming, like a hurricane. And they're like, nah, no problem. We'll fish. We'll get out of here long before the storm comes. Can't get the anchor up. And they're pulling and they're pulling. And the 4 huge, big football guys. Colin Smith had won a Super Bowl with Tampa Bay. Wow. 37, I believe. Anyway, so then they have this really clever idea and say, hit the gas. Let's see if that works. And they hit the gas and the whole boat flips over. Now they're in 60-degree water. There's sharks. And then the rain comes and the wind and the hurricane. And then I made a call to my agent at CAA and said, I need a little help. I want to grab Josh Duhamel to play the Coast Guard captain who kind of puts the whole rescue effort together. And I had worked with Josh before on a film called Bandit. In fact, I had a nice conversation with him at the premiere party and said, I'm going to send you something because I want to work with you. And reached out to his manager, Carabino, but mostly Lori Bartlett at CAA. And we got it done in a few days, got him out to Malta and made an unbelievable movie. So
that's great.
Yeah, we have a major position in this. I have a major credit in this as a producer, as does my partner, Bob Daley.
Yep.
And we're beyond excited. I think this is going to be a huge movie. I think it's going to be a box office movie.
Yeah.
I think it's going to hit the faith-based world, because how did this one person survive? I'm sorry to give it away, but if it's a true story that's out
true
there,
story.
I think
People know
it. How did he survive and the other ones didn't? All in 20-something-year-olds in great shape.
Wow.
I think faith played into it. And Zachary Levi, who plays the guy,
Shazam,
is a faith-based guy. So, so I like that angle. So we're looking at that as part of our marketing efforts because I feel like it speaks to that community a lot, and it should. That movie is a huge part of what we've done this year. We made a movie that I believe we will be Kodak Theater, but the Dolby, is it?
Dolby, yeah.
I'll be there for the Oscars when
Sir Anthony Hopkins
wins for Best Actor. And I'm telling you, I think at the very least going to get nominated. He plays Sigmund Freud in a movie that we're producers on called
Freud's Last
Session. And the his co-star is Matthew Good, who plays the writer C.S. Lewis. And Sir Anthony Hopkins plays Sigmund Freud. And they get into these massive debates about religion and non-religion. And of course, Freud is not a believer. And Matthew Good plays C.S. Lewis, who is a believer. And a fascinating dialogue in the backdrop of World War II happening. So it's a really, really, really strong position film for award season. So I believe that's going to be one we're going to be thrilled. When it lists me as producer or produced by...
Would you be executive producer on that one?
As executive producer on that one.
You guys finance your own movies that you mostly write, most of them.
Or I'm usually raising most
You're
of the
raising
financing
money
for my movies.
Am I correct that aren't you part of Bride Hard coming out?
We are. So
With Rebel Wilson?
Yes.
This is huge.
So,
she's huge. Well, not huge anymore.
Not Without Hope is a $20 million movie. Bride Hard is our first $30 million movie.
Wow.
Amazing people on this. The guys at Balcony 9, Joel Moore and his partners, put that thing together. But you had Cassian Elways as a lead on-set producer.
Huge.
He's one of the greats.
Yeah, well, exactly.
And I had a really good time getting to know Cassian, chatting away at the monitors. Whoops, not supposed to say that. No, we didn't talk by the monitors at all. Him, Colin Camp, who I believe brought in Rebel. Had a really
that's
good
great.
time in Savannah, Georgia, which let me just tell you about Savannah, Georgia in the summer.
Oh,
Don't go there. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't say that.
so hot in the summer.
You know, it's like 4 a.m. We had a lot of night shoots on this, and it's like 4 a.m. I'm like, does it ever cool off? It's 4 a.m. and it's 100 degrees. How's that possible?
That's crazy.
We shot at the Ford Estate, the former Ford Estate.
Yep,
Or
yep.
maybe it's still a Ford Estate. I don't know. Really nice place.
Yeah.
A lot of land.
From the Henry Ford family?
That's right.
Okay.
And they may have had a few dollars, those people.
Yeah.
So that movie is going to be fantastic. It's directed brilliantly by Simon West, who, if you don't know, has made a lot of big movies like
Laura Croft, Expendables 2,
That's right.
Con Air, goes on and on.
Huge.
Huge.
Very good with action. And Rebel really brought the comedy. So you got a nice action comedy and the supporting cast. A lot of very funny people in that supporting cast. You have Anna Camp, who's actually really a lead.
Yep.
Justin Hartley from This Is Us.
Okay. Yeah.
Stephen Dorff is a villain. So
that's great.
A lot of really good people in this cast. And that one, again, we didn't put it together. We didn't run it, but we were a big part of saving it.
But you're getting called in as the cleaner, the fixer. Your company, you guys are getting called in.
On this one, I was more working with them on the finance structure and that side, and getting their last funds that they needed.
So now your price range of your movies are anywhere from like $1 million to $30 million.
That's right.
And growing. And you have funds ready for the smaller movies, and you have go-to people for the larger movies?
I mean, every movie is its own, it's almost like a startup company, if any of you can relate to what that's like. Okay, let's go to our usual pack of investors that invested in the last startup, and then let's put our package together and explain why you should invest in this product and how it's going to make money and what the risks are and what the potential rewards are. And we have to do that on every single film. The problem that I'm now discovering is I'm also responsible for the sales and distribution and collections.
Right.
So when I finish the movie, I'm not finished.
Right.
And all these movies are adding on to each other. I now found I have to kind of work from the time I wake up until about 10 or 11 o'clock at night just to make my days of everything that's going on. And, and I had to hire staff, and I have staff now. Right? So I have an assistant. I have my head of production. Denise is a workhorse like me. I have to say, I thought I was the hardest working person I know, but I'll sign off at like midnight where we've been messaging each other, and then I'll get these emails.
Right.
1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4
From Denise,
a.m., 5 a.m. And I'm like, Denise, go to sleep. I'm waking up now. I'm watching the 5 a.m. email. I just woke up.
Right.
And she's like, oh, I'll go to sleep for a couple hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of the dedication of my team.
So then how does a David Lipper date? Does David Lipper, does he have time to date? Are you dating somebody or not? Do you have time to date? You don't have any time to date.
I swear, I just had this conversation with my mother.
Yes.
It's a problem. I am not going to lie. This is the one drawback to what I'm doing.
And successful and as busy
again, think of the startup analogy. I'm in that startup phase also for the company. We have a bunch of partnerships going on now. We've made some tremendous relationships. Obviously, my partner comes from, almost royalty in name.
Exactly.
Because his father truly was one of the greatest, if not the greatest studio boss ever, and the glory days of Warner Brothers. So there's a lot of shoes to fill here and a lot of responsibility, and I don't want to let anybody down. So right now I'm putting in the work. Unfortunately, that's one of the byproducts being left behind is dating's been very hard. And I've tried a few times in the last couple of years, and I'm usually met with, call me when you have
exactly.
And
exactly.
And it sucks, because
you want to date. I know that.
And I want to be there for the person I'm dating.
Of course.
I want to be, listening and empathetic and there.
Yeah.
And the problem is also my hours. Like I can't shut off because it doesn't stop.
Right.
And I'm dealing with Australia, and I'm dealing with Malta, and I'm dealing with England, and these are all different time zones. And the Bond company's in England, and the production company's in Malta, and then there's line producers in Australia.
And sometimes people don't understand. One of the last girls I was dating, she goes, I need you to commit at 8 o'clock on Saturday. We're going to do this thing. I said, okay, yeah, we're going to do it. And then at like 2 p.m, something else would happen that is so important business-wise. I'm like, can we just, and she'd get so mad at me. So I know what you're saying. I mean, but you're at a whole different level. You're working nonstop.
Yeah.
It's very hard because you want to be there for them.
I'm basically running a studio.
Yeah, you are your own mini major.
It's funny, my lawyer, Paul Almond, he said to me once, he used to run a company called Live Entertainment, and they had a staff of 25 people. He said, David, we had a full staff of 25 people in a massive office making less films than you're making.
I know, exactly. No, exactly. I don't know anybody who made as many as you. This is great. David Lipper, everyone, the workhorse Hollywood phenom. Thank you very much for being here, buddy.
It was a pleasure, man.
Absolutely, man.
Great to be here.
Thank you. Awesome.